It's all the lads back together again. Let's do spring break or schoolies, as it were.
Circle jerk.
Who's got the biscuit? Oh, shit.
Oh, well, you know what? It's that time. No introductions needed. G'day, Jarrett.
G'day, gentlemen. How you both going?
Pretty good, although that was an introduction.
Yeah, it's true. But I just wanted to know generally how you were going as well. You know, Ben, how you doing?
I guess I'm probably more 4-3 than 16-9 if you had to. But otherwise, fine.
Well, I'm not. Well, Glenn, are you anamorphic or non-anamorphic over there?
I have no idea what I am. I'm just. Hang on.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. He's definitely conforming to the frame.
240.
So, gentlemen.
Yes.
Now, I think this can be officially the last week until the release of Houseboat Horror that we can discuss Houseboat Horror. But I just figured, why not? Because Umbrella have finally announced all the extras for it. So I think now we can announce whatever we haven't announced before, which I'm pretty sure we haven't mentioned that it's going to have the complete feature of the Mad Dead Devils Down Under on it. Have we mentioned that before?
No, we haven't. With hosted by Mark Jacko Jackson and Ollie Martin.
And Ollie Martin. And it features
Ollie Martin.
It's got like about a 10-minute segment from Houseboat Horror in that doco, and it's a really cool doco. So it's great that that's going to be included because that's the first time it's made, I guess, an appearance since 1993 when it was released on video. And then did we mention Zlatko's short film Killer Zombies being on there?
No, we haven't.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that's on there as well.
Zlatko being Acid Head from Houseboat Horror, and Killer Zombies also features Ollie Martin in it as well in an acting role. So that's on there.
And Film Buffs Forecast legend Paul Harris.
Paul Harris, yeah.
As well as a zombified pervert, I believe, which is he's pretty good.
He practically he pulled a Neil Foley.
He does, and it's a really entertaining short. We played it at Monster Fest, a long time.
I reckon it was almost a decade ago. Oh, 2013 or so.
Yeah,
2013, 2014. Yeah,
it went off like a treat. It was great.
It's ripe for rediscovery, and it's that kind of short that you look at and you realize that we could have had our own Peter Jackson here in Australia. But Australia really wasn't ready for him. And Zlatko's had a great career. He's worked, in film ever since doing that short and being in Houseboat Horror, but behind the scenes predominantly. I mean, he did a bit of acting back in the day. He is in Ghosts of the Sybil Dead as well, the John Hillcock film. But he's done a fair bit of behind the scenes work. And it's funny because everyone sort of seems to know him that's worked in the film industry. You drop the name or you hear the name. I remember even when Ben first mentioned his name to me, I was like, hang on, is that the guy from Houseboat Horror? And you're like, oh, yeah, I think it is.
Of course, you're going to know that.
You know Acid Head. So anyway, I guess that's the last bit of Houseboat Horror news. But there is some other news I wanted to discuss, and I wanted to see if Ben can confirm something for me because I know he's got a bit of insight over there at Umbrella. Now, July, they've just announced 2 releases, the first of which is Razorback, and it's coming out in 4K Ultra HD. It's got an all-new commentary track with the Spirit Brothers, the filmmakers from Queensland that did Daybreakers, Predestination, that Saw sequel that we won't talk about, but some other great stuff like Undead and there's another one there. Oh, Winchester. I quite like that one as well. Mm-hmm. And so they're doing a commentary on there. Otherwise, it ports all the existing Umbrella content on there. And there's some fancy ass bundles that they put together. Very, very nice. But I was looking at the image of the exploded pack shot where it had the discs. Now, on the discs, it seems to have Dolby in rather large lettering. And it's very different. I don't typically see that on Umbrella discs. And I'm wondering if that is in fact got Dolby Atmos on it. Ben, do you know? Because it would make sense that Umbrella failed to announce something that would be like amazing to announce.
Yeah, look, I do not know. I cannot say for sure, but I would say that'd be very unlike Umbrella.
Well, Jarrett is you're like a Dolby Atmos truffle pig, mate. You're gonna find
I got a whiff of it and I'm all over it. It is unusual because it looks like it could say Dolby Atmos, but it could just say Dolby Audio. But why would you write that? But then in the specs, I think they've just got 5.1 digital and DTS HD 2.0. And I'm like, well, anyway, so I guess maybe I'll contact someone at Umbrella and confirm that one and get back to you. Because I mean, it would be amazing if it's got Atmos. Like, that's an instant buy for me. Otherwise, I'm going to wait and see what the reviews are like. Because, you know, it's, I don't know, how much greater can this film look, particularly if it doesn't have HDR or, you know, Dolby Vision to it to augment the visuals. But regardless, exciting news. And the other one I'm really excited about is they're releasing Larry Clark's Kids on Blu-ray. And it's going to have that documentary that came out a couple of years ago. I think what's it called? It's called We Were Once Kids. I think it was called The Kids, but it also We Were Once the Kids, from the same documentarian that did All That Mayhem. Actually, a Melbourne documentarian.
I believe it's called Kids Incorporated, and they Martika pops up. She was cut out of the film, but she's in there.
Oh, excellent! Well,
it's the long lost third season of Henderson Kids.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Well, having done all the special features for Houseboat Horror, I can say that I know quite a few people that appeared in an episode of Henderson Kids over its glorious 2 seasons.
Season 1 for the win.
Yes, definitely. So, yeah, that's it for the news. In terms of new releases that are coming out, I'm not going to get bogged down with DVD because, like, seriously, there's enough good stuff coming out this week that we may as well just keep it high def. And the first distributor I want to talk about is Roadshow. They're releasing a title on DVD and Blu-ray. It's a title I'm not particularly excited about. I know Glenn was subjected to it. He went to see it with Mel, and that's Magic Mike's Last Dance. So it's a world we live in when we get that one on Blu-ray, but Roadshow don't release X on Blu-ray, and I'm not going to let that go. But I guess they're going to sell a lot of copies of this because this is the kind of Blu-ray that blows the cobwebs out of, you know, where. And I understand it's not a particularly good film. It's just another one in the illustrious Magic Mike franchise.
Nothing like that.
It's an interesting one because traditionally, at least I found that the buyers of physical media are predominantly men. Like, they're the ones who have the outrageous collections, who care about things like HD and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, the ladies want to see Magic Mike in HD, but they're quite happy to watch that on Netflix or Amazon Prime or whichever streaming service.
But Ben, I think you're forgetting that there's other gentlemen out there that may enjoy watching this film in high definition.
I'm sure. No, I'm certain. I'm certain there are. I just wouldn't have thought there were
the same. I wouldn't have expected to be.
There are more of them than there would be fans of X.
Well, what I found interesting is back in the old day, working at JB Hi-Fi, one of the titles that had the most oversupply that they could not get rid of was Magic Mike XXL, and I would think that was a sign right there that maybe we don't need all these formats for the third one.
But I'm glad they're not doing 4K because, like, let's face it. I mean, even if that thing did have Atmos, I'm not renting it. I haven't seen the first 2, so I'm not going to start in on the third one. And I don't know. It doesn't. There's no draw. You know, like, it's not like I'm, you know, being strange about it. But there's just no draw for me. Like, maybe
I will recommend the first one. It's an amazing film. And
the first one's Soderbergh, isn't it?
But isn't it Soderbergh?
The new one's Soderbergh too.
Oh,
I got no time for that prick. You know, fuck him. He's made a handful of good films, and then the rest of them he's fucked around with shooting things on phones and recutting 2001: A Space Odyssey. I got no time for you, Mr. Soderbergh. Why don't you retire like you said you were going to do?
He was very helpful on the Limey release. So thank you very much, Stephen.
But I would think he's doing the same kind of nerdgasms that you would have.
Yeah, I don't know if anything need be shot on a phone and released in cinemas. Stick to shooting on a proper camera.
Well,
if I wanted to watch something, experiment. If I want to watch something, they shouldn't have released it theatrically. And I remember that Fox would not give us that movie to play at Monsterfest because they said it's not a horror movie. It's not a horror movie. And then when the movie came out theatrically, they marketed the thing like it was a fucking horror movie. It was a horror of a movie. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I've got no time for it. And now you can probably pick it up for fucking from Clint's Crazy Bargains for $5 on Blu-ray, and it'll fade into obscurity. Hopefully, See you later, Mr. Soderbergh.
And yet
getting
it's still $7 at Cashies.
Yeah, exactly. Go figure. And it's open, and that one's heavily scratched. I don't know. But getting onto some good releases, the ones I'm really excited about this week are the titles that are coming out from Imprint Films. They've got a box set coming out. This one's going to be right down Ben's alley. It's their Essential Noir box set, Volume 4, I think it is. Now, I'm going to have to consult my notes for this to read through the titles, because I think there's about 5 films in this set. So we've got Rope of Sand from 1949, Appointment with Danger from 1950, The Enforcer from 1951, Beware My Lovely from 1952, and then the last one, Jennifer from 1953, not to be confused with the Carrie knockoff Jennifer that came out in the late 70s where she could control snakes telepathically or something. Very cool. I wish that was in a box set. But yeah, that's a nice set, and I would definitely be keen to check it out, but pretty sure I've got the last 2 or 3 of them in the cupboard of shame, and I have not cracked them yet. So maybe I won't dip my toes in for the 4th one just yet. But look, if JB Hi-Fi have one of those sales where it's like buy one, get one free, I will probably buy it and find another box set around the same price point, because like $50, let it collect some dust in the cupboard. I'll get there one day. Maybe. And one more release from Imprint Films this week. This one I'm super excited about, and Imprint are actually going to send me a sample of it. It's in transit at the moment, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd love to bring it out and show you. So what I might do is like bring it out next week and show you. But for now, I'll just talk about it. It's The Haunting of Julia, which also went under the title Full Circle. Now, they were the first in the market to announce it, but in the time since announcing it, Scream Factory's released it in the US. They've done a 4K Ultra HD, and I think BFI are doing it in the UK. And I mean, I don't honestly know if this film's going to hugely benefit from a 4K UHD release. I think if it's got a 4K transfer and a Blu-ray, it's probably going to look pretty sweet. And the beauty of the Imprint release is it's loaded with exclusive content. So content that's been produced exclusively for this release and not shared between the other releases. And they're not just like, film historian commentaries or, visual essays or all that sort of stuff.
Hey, that's my stock and trade.
I know. Well, same. Like, hire me. But there's a commentary track with the director. You've got featurettes with the composer and, cinematographer. It is fully loaded. It's got a nice 3D lenticular hard case, and it comes with the soundtrack CD. It's the first time the soundtrack's been released with like over 20 minutes of other, music from the film that's never made its way to vinyl or CD before. So it's a really nice package. Oh, and there's a 44-page booklet with essays and things as well. So yeah, it's a pretty comprehensive release. I can't wait to get it, and I will show it to you guys next week on the segment once it arrives, provided that the postie does not take it to the post office, because in that one moment that I am not there to answer the door, maybe using the lavatory, he cards it and expects me to go like 2 or 3 suburbs over to pick it up, that prick.
Yep.
I think he just does it because he doesn't want to get engaged in conversation with me. He's like, there's that guy again. He's real lonely. He's going to talk my ears off. But really, I'm just like, give me the fucking package and go. But I'm just polite about it. I'm like, oh, hey, mate, how's it going? Oh, good. Yeah, you need a signature? All right. Yeah, sweet. How's your day been?
And they make you sign it with your finger.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, God knows what he's been doing in there. So it reminds me of that time I was in New Zealand. I kept touching that car handle and it felt like KFC chicken. Remember that, Ben? The greasy chicken. And it wasn't even us. I like to think that if there's grease on the handle, it's me leaving that grease on the handle.
Did you hear someone from behind say, bullshit artist?
Yeah. No free drinks. Well, gentlemen, that's it for the home entertainment releases this week and the news. But yeah, thanks for listening to me go on endless rants about a bunch of shit that didn't have any connection to home entertainment.
Thanks, mate. See you next week.